So after a whole year and a half since we last entered the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Wandavision has finally dropped on Disney+. But is this weird and quirky show worth the wait? Will Wanda be responsible for bringing in the X-Men, Deadpool, and the other Spider-Men? Will Wanda be the next big bad of the MCU? Let's talk about it.
Don't give a damn if you like my shit. I'm DJ Shades, I still get played. I'm on that real shit. Drew be on that real shit. I'm on that real shit. Drew be on that real shit. I'm on that real shit. Who be on that real shit? I'm on that real shit. Who be on that real shit? I'm on that real shit. Drew be on that real shit. I'm on that real shit. Drew be on that real shit. I'm on that real shit. Who be on that real shit? I'm on that real shit. Real talk.
Thanks for stopping by. I'm your boy Token Drew. And today we are going over episodes 1 and 2 of WandaVision. So episode 1 and 2 was released on Disney Plus on January 15th, 2021. Now I'm going to try and keep my spoilers to a minimum, but you know, this be your warning right here. Starring Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda and Paul Bettany as Vision. This show, from what we can see from the trailers and what we've seen from these first couple episodes, is going to be spanning over the different TV eras. This first episode takes place in the 1960s. A very Dick Van Dyke kind of show with the physical humor and whatnot, and the camera set only in set locations like the job, the living room, and the kitchen. So I thought this first episode was a lot of fun. It set up the weirdness and the subtle creepiness of what we're going to be getting in this series. Wanda is using her abilities, and though it's not implied really what's going on here, I'm going to explain it a little bit later after we talk about this. We're introduced to her neighbor, Agnes, who the community is theorizing that that's really the witch Agatha Harkness, who was a mentor to Scarlet Witch and who was an actual witch from the Salem witch trials. I had a lot of fun while I was watching the episode, and I liked, the introductions and the subtle hints. Now, I'm not an Easter egg hunter. I'm not gonna lie. I've never, I love to watch the channels that do the Easter eggs, such as Heavy Spoilers, Screen Crush, Screen Rant, New Rock Stars, Mr. Sunday Movies. I like to watch those channels and check out their theories, and I'll watch like Comics Explained or Comic Storian and Variant Comics, so that way I can check out like the backstories of these characters. When I was first watching the episode with my son, I was hunting for Easter eggs, but he pointed out the Iron Man Easter egg in the commercial that they do, in which the toaster, when it's activated, sounds like Iron Man's repulsor blast. Is that it? Repulsor? Sounds like, his hand. It sounds like his hand cannon. I like the main plot that was the boss coming over to eat with his wife, and how they implemented the humor there with Vision trying to cover up for Wanda, who thought that it was their anniversary. But, watch the episode and find out for yourself. But, God, I forget this actress's name. I actually never knew her name, real talk. But, the mom, Peggy, right? Is that the mom's name from that 70s show?
No, that's Kitty.
There's an instance that's happening where the husband is asking Wanda questions. And I've noticed that when questions are asked in this series so far, they are done in a repetition of 3. Now, I got a little theory about that I'm going to hit on at the end. Hopefully I remember. During dinner, the husband, Mr. Hart, starts to choke. And the wife, she's saying, stop it. First, it sounds like she's saying stop it to the husband, like, stop playing around. But then she's saying stop it over and over and over again. And she starts looking at Wanda saying, stop it, stop it, stop it. And you realize, like, as a viewer, you realize something's wrong. As a fan, you're like, oh, yo, this shit's getting real. And Wanda, breaks out of almost like breaking character from the way she was acting before. It got kind of like a serious tone and told Vision, Vision, help her. And Vision does just that, putting his hand into the guy's throat and pulling out this piece of meat or whatever like that, or a strawberry or some shit. And then the family leaves. Like, it's like it's like they snap back into the illusion that what's going on in this world. So Wanda and Vision, at the end where they're doing their kind of outro segment, the screen fades out to a hexagon, which is weird because normally when screens fade out, they do the circle thing like in Looney Tunes. And it shows that they are being watched on a TV screen by an agent of S.W.O.R.D. Now, before we start explaining stuff, I really enjoyed the episode because I know what the source material is. I can see, however, why some people might be confused because they really don't give you anything. They don't give you any real plot. They just are just sprinkling stuff. And I really hope they start putting some plot soon, because if you haven't read the House of M and Decimation storyline or even watched the videos explaining it, you're going to be lost. That being said, I'm going to give that first episode a C+. The second episode is a lot of fun, and it takes place more like in the 70s era of sitcoms, where it's still black and white, but the camera is a bit more free. You get to see more of the house. The camera's following the characters more. You see upstairs. You see shots from outside the house. The address is 2800. I'm sure that's a reference somewhere. I was trying to figure something out. I'll refer to my notes later and see if we can, if it means anything. Like I said, I'm not really a theorizer. I'll smoke and kick it with the guys and be like, I think this is gonna happen, but I never really put my ideas out in public like this. In this episode, the plot is that Wanda and Vision are gonna do this talent show, and when Vision goes off to meet with the neighborhood watch just to try and get chummy with the people, Wanda goes with Agnes to this, I don't know, prissy female book club talk shit meeting. I don't know what it's called, but it's ran by this woman, Dottie. And Dottie is really, really shitty to Wanda. But a really interesting part happens. First off, before that happens, let me rewind a little bit. Wanda is led outside because she hears the sound of a propeller and a thump. And she goes outside and she sees this helicopter that, even though everything else is in black and white, this helicopter is in Iron Man colors, and it has the S.W.O.R.D. logo on the casing. And when Wanda goes to this luncheon with these ladies that Dottie's running, Dottie, like I said, is being really shitty to Wanda. And eventually Wanda's like, yo, I think we got off on the wrong foot. Can we make shit better? And the lady's like, no, because, how would you make things better? I've heard some things about you and your husband. And Wanda's like, well, whatever you heard, we mean you no harm. And the lady's like, I don't believe you. Before that happens, though, there is a line that got me thinking, because in that line, Dottie says, the devil's in the details. And then Agnes says to Wanda, that's not all he's in. So that leads me thinking that Mephisto, who is Marvel's version of the devil. And there are many iterations of the devil in different, realms and blah, blah, blah. But this is like the most widely accepted devilish looking guy. He's like a trickster and he runs hell. He's like the pseudo-Christian devil. All right. So anyway, the radio that they're listening to, you start hearing a voice come through saying, Wanda, who's doing this to you? Wanda, can you read me? Wanda. And the lady's like, what's that? And she looks at Wanda and she's like, who are you? And she crushes her glass and you see her blood, but her blood is red. Everything else is still black and white. And I think that was the lady breaking the illusion for a second, and then she kind of snaps back to it because she, walks off and everything's good. Vision's at his little meeting. I don't want to give the whole episode away, because they have a really fun talent show, okay? But at the end, there's a lot of references to the color red in this episode. The helicopter is red, the blood is red, and Vision's shoes on big red. That's another 3 things. Just like how there are 3 questions whenever people ask a question. Who are you? Why are you guys here? When did you guys get married? Or something like everyone asks things in increments of 3. There's also a creepy for the children chant that everyone seems to do. Like if someone's like, yeah, we're doing this for the children, everybody else replies, for the children. There is another really, really cool scene. And we've seen, in the trailer, it shows this beekeeper guy coming out of the grate. And when that happens, Wanda simply says no. And it kind of like glitches everything and he's gone. And, to me, I geeked out because I'm like, yo, that's her callback, man. You know what I'm saying? to when she said in the comics, no more mutants, and decimated 98% of the mutant population, as in like depowered them multiversal wide. And we're going to talk about that here in a second. But this episode was a lot of fun. The talent show was a lot of fun. And at the very end, Wanda shows she's pregnant and color starts coming to the world. Speaking of which, overall, I'm going to give that episode a B-. I was laughing out loud, I'm not going to lie. Now let's talk about some things for a minute. Now, first things first, I feel like the number 6 is popping up a lot. All right, so a hexagon is something with 6 sides. And when both episodes close out, they are surrounded by 6 sides. What else has 6 in the Marvel Universe? 6 Infinity Stones. Now, there is a theory that Wanda is connected to all 6 Infinity Stones because throughout the movies, previously, she's been showing off different feats from different stones. She can, whenever she does her magic, it's kind of it's red and kind of watery looking, similar to the ether, the red reality stone. When Ultron was uploading his mind into Vision's body, she was able to read his mind. That's the Mind Stone. Just like how Doctor Strange was able to peer into 14,000,001 different futures, Wanda was able to look into the future and see Vision's plan, not Vision, Ultron's plan. Once again, that's the time stone. She can fly with ease. That's the space stone. And she has that connection to the different stones, such as when Vision said that the Mind Stone was warning him against the other Infinity Stones coming, and that he could only feel her when he was about to die, and she was able to remotely control the Mind Stone using her powers, and when he was choking Hawkeye and made him go intangible so Hawkeye could slip through, you know? Not to mention too, she sacrificed what she loved. Like, she made that huge sacrifice. You know, the Soul Stone has a hard on for that. Then we have, not to mention there's a bunch of 2s everywhere because Wanda's gonna have twins. Now in the comics, her twins were Billy and Tommy, who were the mutants Wiccan and Speed. And it turns out that those were twins that she created. And when she found out that they weren't real, she started to lose grip on reality. Wanda's never been a mentally stable person. You know, she is the poster child for instability, real talk. And, you know, and she snapped. And when she snapped, she pretty much gave a universe that got everything they wished. So Magneto was running the world pretty much because the mutants were the dominant force. And this is the decimation, or this is the House of M storyline. And once it all started crumbling down and Magneto tried to kill Quicksilver because Quicksilver was the one who pushed Wanda to make this alternate reality, Wanda says no more mutants, and 98% of the mutant population are depowered, multiversal wide. Now that is stupid strong reality warping right there. The reason why I say that though, I talk about her twins, is because so in the middle of episode 2, there is a fake commercial where there is a watch, and on that watch, the time is 2:42. I was thinking to myself, like, you know, where else can I find this number 6 at? Well, you take that 2, and then, you know, the 2 dots for time, and then the 4 and the 2, you add those 4 and 2 together, that's a 6, all right? So you have the 6 on the watch, you have the 6 on the hexagonal sides, you have the moon in the intro with 6 stars around it. That's 3 6s so far. I think that's a subtle call out to Mephisto. The 2, I mean, because they could have chose any time. So they chose 2 because she's going to have 2 kids. And we've seen that in the future. We've seen that in trailers. You know, there's 2 bassinets. So another thing that's really interesting is how there is the organization SWORD. Now in the comics, SWORD was like S.H.I.E.L.D. but in space. Where S.H.I.E.L.D. dealt with earthbound, you know, crazy shit. SWORD did the same thing but for up in space. So in the comics, SWORD stands for Sentient World Observation Response Division. But in the show, it stands for Sentient Weapon Observation Response Department. Now both Vision and Wanda are sentient weapons. Vision created by Tony, so Tony would have registered him, and Wanda living at the compound would have been registered as well. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking by the end of the series, Wanda's going to have her twins and lose her twins. When she's going to do that, she's going to snap, and that's what's going to spark the multiverse of madness that Doctor Strange has to deal with. The results of that is also going to go into the Spider-Man movie. because just like the last Spider-Man movie that dealt with, like all the Spider-Man movies so far have dealt with the end of Avengers movie. The first one had the Chitauri armor and stuff like that, and bugs and the monsters, the carcasses and whatnot. The second one had the snap, like after the snap and when everyone blipped back. Blip. So I think the third Spider-Man movie is going to be the result of what's happening now. Wanda's snapping, and with her snapping, she's going to allow, that's going to bring in that Spider-Verse thing where you're going to have the Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire Spider-Man come back. And that's where you're going to have the Multiverse of Madness. And I was thinking, if that's the case, I feel like Wanda is going to be the next big bad. In the comics, Wanda snaps and destroys the Avengers Mansion, killing some people. And Hawkeye ends up dying because of this, because she ends up making the I think it's like the Kree, makes the Kree warships just appear over the Avengers Mansion, and Hawkeye ends up sacrificing himself to save everybody. And then the whole depowering thing, I think what Wanda's going to do, instead of saying no more mutants, she's going to say the opposite. She's going to say, like, I want mutants, because that's what her kids were, her kids who don't exist. And when she says that, that's going to bring in the X-Men and all the other mutants. So that is my theory. Both episodes were fun. I really just hope that they do more and start giving us the plot, you know, start adding these tidbits to get people hooked. Because if it keeps on like this, you know, yeah, people like me and my homies, you know, who've read the comics were like, oh, sweet, we're seeing House of M. We're seeing Decimation. We know how unstable and powerful Wanda is. But the other movies never hinted at this shit before. So we'll see. But I look forward to the next episode coming out this Friday. So hope you guys enjoy this. I have more content coming soon. But until next time, I'm your boy Token Drew. Live up, smoke out, game on. I'm out this bitch. Thanks for watching. I be blind, still go daredevil. All these niggas think they so special. Everybody claim they a trap boss. Every chick think they the baddest bitch. Guess my real last here to piss you off. Everybody in the hood is slanging pounds. Who the hell is buying? Where the fuck the business? Honey, you may think you the baddest broad, but you just a story. Yo, nigga, I hit it dope when you make out the fire ganj. In the end, it's all just weed. Shorty, you make it, the bomb is head, but you ain't the first one to give it to me. I ain't a drug dealer, but I still got the water cash. Not trying to brag, just stating the fact. Spend what I want, and I make it all back in a matter of days. I still get paid. Bitch, don't like my game, I still get laid. And I don't give a damn if you like my shade. I'm DJ Shades, I still get played. I'm on that real shit. Drew be on that real shit. I'm on that real shit. Drew be on that real shit. I'm on that real shit. Who be on that real shit? I'm on that real shit. Who be on that real shit? I'm on that real shit. Drew be on that real shit. I'm on that real shit. Drew be on that real shit. I'm on that real shit.